Hi, welcome back to Second Chances Farm. I'm Robbie Jester. I have Evan here, who is the man about the farm here. He's, you know, not everything is always perfect. You don't always have all the ingredients. Sometimes you need to just make something on the fly. So we thought it would be fun if Evan just brought me some things that they're pulling from the farm today, so I can throw them into a really quick, easy, simple dish. So what do you got for me today?
Well, I brought in just a random selection of some of our fresh herbs that I literally just cut off the plant about 5 minutes ago. I have some flat leaf parsley, always fresh and delicious, some fresh oregano, which you don't see that often, and some fresh thyme, which is really, really nice and light, and just a lot of greenery there.
Fantastic. Now I have some leftovers from a recipe that we were working on earlier. So I have some wasabino, which is a like a mustard green, so it's peppery, got some horseradishy notes to it. I also have some collard greens and some red vein sorrel. So we're probably going to use that to finish the dish because it has like a tart green apple sort of flavor to it. I'm actually fairly new to that, but I think it's fantastic. And for anyone that doesn't know about it, Second Chances Farm has a farm-to-table delivery program, right?
We do.
And when you do that program for people, like how does that work? How fresh is that produce? You know, what's the time from cut to it gets to them?
Yeah, so you can sign up for our delivery service online at secondchancesfarm.com. Everything you get is harvested within 24 hours before you get it, and it's a random selection of all the vegetables and greens that we grow at the farm. There's 6 items in each bag, and it's the same or more than you would get in a package at the grocery store, and for a better cost as well.
And because it's grown here on the farm, Delaware's first vertical indoor hydroponic farm, it's pesticide free, herbicide free, so a fantastic, fresh, good for you product.
Yep.
And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of, you know, this younger hydroponic produce. One of the things that I love, you'll see here on like things like fresh thyme, traditionally how this is grown, it's super woody traditionally, and you can't use a lot of that stem, so you're paying for stem.
Right.
And then you can't use it, you have to kind of throw it away, put it in stock or something like that. So I love the fact that we're going to be able to use most of all of that. So to get into our dish, we've got a little bit of shrimp here. I'm going to turn my pan on medium-high heat. And I have a little bit of olive oil here.
Always gotta have the olive oil.
Gotta have the olive oil. It's a great flavoring oil. It's not just there for fat in the pan, but it has good texture, good flavor. It makes sense for the dish, for a complete dish at the end.
Is that extra virgin?
That is extra virgin. And you don't have to use olive oil in this dish. I'm kind of making it up as we go along. That's what I had out here. So we could certainly, you could use
butter too.
You could use butter, you could use grapeseed oil. With butter, you just want to be careful at high heat that the butter doesn't brown. It'll have a tendency to get a little black and it won't necessarily look as great. So we're just going to slice some of our garlic here. We're basically just going to do simple sauteed shrimp and greens. Flavor it simply with a little salt and pepper. Fresh cracked pepper and fresh cracked salt go a long way when it comes to building flavors of things. I often find that the difference between someone's home cooking and someone's restaurant cooking, why restaurants have this mystique of having food that's so great, is salt and pepper.
People just don't use enough of it at home.
Correct. So now that we got our pot nice, or our saute pan nice and hot, I got a little bit of smoke. I'm gonna go in with my shrimp here. And you hear that sound? That's exactly the sound that we're looking for. I'm gonna use a wood spoon for this. We wanna spread it out so that it's not laying on top of itself. So we get a nice sear on our shrimp.
And I know a lot of people have problems cooking shrimp to get it to the right consistency so it's not like dense and chewy. What's like the perfect time to cook it if you're sauteing stovetop?
So what I would say is you are gonna sear on one side, and this is what most people try to cook it evenly on both sides. You're gonna sear and get good color and flavor production on one side. Then you're gonna basically build the dish around it, flip it over and kind of turn the heat off and just let it gently cook on the other side. That's gonna be a good way to make sure that it's fully cooked and not that woody, kind of awful, chewy chewy shrimp that we've all had probably one too many times. So if you want to, can you grab me just a little bit of that oregano out of there? So now we're gonna go in, like I said, because it's grown the way that it's grown, this stem, I can kind of feel when it starts to get a little bit on the thicker side, but that is by and large much more of the actual herb that I can use than I could if it was a conventional herb. And just, you know, because it's so fresh, it just smells fantastic.
Yeah, and we harvest it early, so that's why you sort of get that tender stem, not that twigginess that you normally see on the thyme.
I'm gonna get my thyme in there. I'm gonna go in there with my garlic as well.
More than that?
That looks great. I'm gonna take our oregano, and again, if I was doing a culinary competition or something like that, I would probably pick all these leaves off, but we're cooking for us. We're, you know, there's nothing wrong with using the stems of certain things that make sense, especially if they're tender, pulled early like these are. So I'm gonna give it a little salt and pepper now. You can see my shrimp are cooked with a nice color. They're probably seared perfectly on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a stir. So now I'm gonna take some of these. So I have the wasabina, again, a mustard green. I'm gonna put it on top and spread it around. And what I'm actually doing right now is I'm steaming that green in the pan right now. So my shrimp are just finishing. I'm gonna steam these greens. Again, I want them to have some texture to them. I don't want them to completely die in the pan. Making a mess. I'm gonna actually now add a little bit more olive oil. We wanna have that fat so we get that good mouthfeel. So a little bit more there, a little more salt and pepper.
So you don't want them directly on the heat. They're sort of on top of everything.
Correct.
Getting the residual heat.
So they are just steaming through. It's almost like we're using, if we had a steamer out here and a saute pan, we're kind of getting multiple cooking applications in the same pan. If you see this, they're steamed, so they are more or less cooked at this point. So we don't have to do a ton to them right now. Just gonna stir that around. Beautiful colors. The smell coming off of this is fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this guy off. And turn it off, take it off my flame. So as a chef or as a cook, the one thing we constantly have control over is the heat. So I know that my shrimp is getting to the point where it's fully cooked. I don't have to leave it on the heat. I don't have to panic. I just remove it from the heat, let it stay warm there while I build the rest of this plate. So if you want to grab me a couple pieces of parsley there as well. So we're going to take this parsley. I'm going to just gently kind of chiffonade or make thin ribbons of parsley. I like the flavor of parsley. You know, it's not, a lot of people just think that it's a blank garnish, but especially when it's made like, when it's grown the way that it's grown here, it really has a nice flavor. It adds a lot to the end of a plate. I'm going to take some of our red vein sorrel here and just break it up.
So red vein sorrel is, some consider it an herb, but it seems more like sort of a green. It has a really tart, zesty, slightly bitter, but more of like a citrusy flavor. It's really interesting, and it looks beautiful because it has these bright red veins in it that just really make, you know, add a color pop to anything you put it on.
Oh, it's gorgeous. We're just gonna take this. We're gonna take some of our sauteed shrimp. Again, you could take this mixture right now. You could put it over a salad with a simple vinaigrette. You could serve it with a little bit of your favorite pasta. Very versatile. It's just, again, kind of what we had in the fridge here, left over from some other recipes. And then we have some of the beautiful microgreens. Now this is a mix of micro pea tendrils, which are gonna be nice and sweet. And then the radish mix, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the radish blend is, it's really colorful. There's about 4 to 5 different types of radishes, and most people think of radishes, they're, you know, it's like a sort of a root vegetable, but we harvest them after only a week, and it's just the baby top leaves, and you get a really nice colorful mix, and it's got a real good spice to it. So it adds an extra dimension to anything you put it on.
Yep, so I've just got a little bit, the mix is there for a reason. Again, we have a little spice, a little sweet. I'm gonna just dress them very lightly with the olive oil. We don't want to ever have a garnish on our plate that is inedible or not seasoned. So that's why kind of the sorrel is going down on the bottom there. Threw a little bit more on top for a garnish. We're gonna come on with our micro pea tendrils and radish mix. Gonna season again with a little fresh cracked pepper.
Beautiful.
And
love that olive oil.
there you go. Super simple stuff that we had laying around here. So again, I'm here with Evan. He's the assistant general manager here at Second Chances Farm. And because he is so involved in growing this, we think he should get the first bite. So we're gonna definitely give you some shrimp there. And give you a little bit of the microgreens and the sorrel. You gotta make sure you get some garlic on there. There you go, my man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I guess I don't even need a knife. Thanks for that sorrel. It's amazing. There's so few ingredients in the sauce and the flavoring, but it's so delicious. I mean, it's like buttery and just.
Shrimp's tender, but it's definitely cooked all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
The sorrel adds a lot to this, without adding any lemon juice or vinegar or anything to this dish. The sorrel really kind of steps in and adds that acidity.
Right, it adds a little bit of zing to it. Sorry, I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
Well, we're gonna wrap this thing up, but again, if you have any more information, any questions at all, secondchancesfarm.com.
Thank you.